Hey guys, this week's episode is going to be split up into two parts because some things aren't meant to be left as part of a episode. So I'm going to split that bit up into a separate bit and you guys will get the rest of it in another episode. So here we go. Welcome to Maf Garage, guys. Now, the other night, that storm was a warning shot from nature for me. Pretty much telling me, get this car done ASAP. So, what I've done is the following things in the past couple of days. So, we'll head over here. I've just literally finished clear coating this strut. So, I've just got to wait for it to dry off. And then that one is 100% complete. Then on this side, I have done this strut completely. So I've already got the top already taken down, and I managed to get a lot of that section out. Just couldn't get those little bits here, but a lot of the other stuff I've had to convert with the phosphoric acid. So I've got it there and put it on a lot of these spots, so I've had to polish it back up. As you can see, just the set in bits from the phosphoric acid, just converting all the rust dust. So my main thing at the moment is to either try and remove this a little bit more, or failing that, I'm going to use the kill rust paint on this stuff as well. So I'll probably find a silver and do it that way. But with this, I'll just do the black as per normal. So all those other bits that are in there, they've all been done. So those are the last two things there. Everything else here is about to get bolted together. So I'm just going to sit back, wait for this to dry off, move that out of the way, and then try and get the wheel nut off this, because I haven't shown you that bit either. I managed to get the dust cap off without smashing it apart this time. But with this wheel nut, as you can see there, it's all dented in, because that's how it came from the factory. So my problem is to take it back out, otherwise I'm going to have the same issue of possibly threading. And yeah, if that axle spline ends up threading, yeah, that's going to be more problems than I want. And I've already had to deal with the other one, so the less trouble with this one, the better. So you can see here, I'm already taking it back, and we've got a nice big gap there now. Try and move this across. You can see it's being pushed up, but it's got to go up so it's round, because if there's any sort of indentation there, it's going to thread. So at the moment, I'm literally jamming the screwdriver in. I'm doing this one-handed, but I'm having it right on the edges there and jamming it in. And then try to pull on it a little bit. So you can see like that. And then I'll just literally grab the mallet, and how I've been doing it is just hitting it in there and just pulling it out. It's okay if it breaks the screwdriver, it's only a cheap one. But yeah, the more I do of that, the more it'll straighten that out and make it easier to remove, because I certainly don't want to thread this wheel nut. She's getting more rounded. Not much to go there, and then I can probably take this off properly without damaging the threads. Bad news, guys. My hammer drill's died. all the stuff must have got into the motor and started shorting it out. So it's been a good run with this. I mean, you look at all the stuff I've de-rusted and got rid of for something that is basically bottom dollar stuff. And I'll show you why it's bottom dollar, because I'm going to go get a replacement. I'm going to take you all with me. So let's head off to one of Australia's favourite institutions, Bunnings. Might get myself a snag while I'm there. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is good old Bunnings. Yeah, lowest price is just the beginning. Yeah, okay. Usually beat it online. So let's go in and get this hammer drill, and then we can get back home and start the wheel removal and finish the last part of the Crustida. Good old tool section here. This is some bad deals. You want to get a deal? Yeah, we're going to find hammer drills. Hammer drill next time. Alright, so she's all paid for. Let's get home and get it all done. But because it's so damn hot here, I actually went and got some frozen Cokes for me and the family before I start working. So I got that rattle gun, smash that nut off. And the good news on this one is there's no real damage on it. All that metal flake is actually from the wheel nut here, just on the edge. So I'm actually quite lucky with that. It's going to be good because I'll be able to smash that back in once it's back on, and there won't be any real problems with that. So, time to take the rust from around there, and then the same thing on the back here. Same deal as last time. And before I forget, let's unbox this hammer drill that I picked up for $24 from Bunnings, as you all just saw. This is the fun. Let's do it one-handed, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, there's going to be sticky tape there. Let's just rip through it. Hulk smash. Open. Get open. There we go. Drop out, and there's the broken one over there. As you can see, exact same, and this does wonderfully for pretty much any metal job that you want, as you've already seen with the progress that I've done on Crustida. So for the price, definitely worth the money. Go and get yourself one of them. Much better in performance than the more expensive brands, in my opinion. Like even Bunnings cheaper Zito ones, this will destroy them. I would even put them up on level with the Makitas and that, just for price for performance. You know, this particular hammer drill has lasted me for almost 3 years, and I've used it on everything. I used it for the Saab to do the cam cover and all the other parts for that. Then I've done Crustida with all the intake and the manifolds, and now all the body parts. So this hammer drill has lasted me quite a long time and has been very much worth the money. I mean, for $24, you can't beat it. So hopefully I get another 3 years worth out of this. Believe it or not, the harder part is actually taking all this grease off rather than taking all the rust off. Because when I do that, it always destroys a wire wheel. Because look how badly it stains it. It's just yuck. But it provides the best results here, because as you can see, the smoothness that's coming out of it, the slight brush marks, it's not too hard. And I've said this in the comments before, having the nylon wheel allows me to push really hard on this without causing big scratches. So you can see the stuff coming off as lines, but when you come to the metal, there's no real proper scratches there. I'll keep taking this off and I'll show you a little bit more and you'll see what I mean. You can see I've got a little bit more, and you can see now, I'll just let this focus in, it's all pretty much gone. Focus please, focus. So all that is just little grease marks left on there that are being brushed off, but the metal itself is not being harmed in any which way. So using these nylon wheels is actually quite good for panels and any other like metal parts that are rusted, because obviously plastic is softer than metal, and you've got the different types of metal. Like just for example, you've got the brush here. So this brush itself, it's a brass material. Now brass will work on this and you can scrub it and it'll be fine, you know, just do it lightly. You can see there's no real bad marks on it, but when you start pressing down and really going hard, that's when you start getting scoring and stuff. So doing it with the hammer drill here allows me to just for example, I can just rest it here, and I'm just going to do this one hand while I'm holding the phone here. Yeah, I use a phone, get over it. As you can still see here, it's just all the grease is just being pushed around. The metal itself is not being harmed. So focus back in. Trying to get it to focus for you. There we go. But as you can see there, it's still just the grease being pushed around. So I'll finish this off and you'll see what I mean when I get it fully done. It'll be pretty much smooth. And there we go, pretty much all done there. You can see very, very smooth, light brush marks. Look at that. Unless you're right up, that's literally 5 mil away from the bearing right there. Unless you're that close trying to inspect it, that's pretty much close to perfection right there. So I'm satisfied with the top part there. I'll just finish off these bits down here because I soaked them in phosphoric acid, and all the rust dust that was left there is actually converted over. So fun time for me trying to get this all off. Yay. So I'm inside Crustida without a glove box. All that. Why is that? Well, quickly tell you why. Up here. Yep, good old Toyota ECU, and we're swapping this puppy. I'll give you guys a little hint what I'm swapping it to. See all the rubber that's already been scattered along the ground here that I've had to kick out from the bench grinder. So I'm only taking it off a little bit at a time here. As you can see, it's just small amounts. This is probably only about 0.005 of a millimeter. And the reason I'm doing it this slowly and with this small of a diameter is because I don't want to take too much off this. If I do, it'll start making the rubber rock, and I want that perfect snug fit into the chassis mount. So one of them's already done down below. This is the second one I'm doing right now. So I'll continue with this and keep wearing it down bit by bit by bit. And as you can see, I'm having to slow this down to almost a crawl. You've got all the rubber dust that's here from the first one all over it. It's just, yeah, constant bit by bit by bit by bit. And it's a slow and annoying process because the amount of frustration that comes from you not being able to fit the item when you're taking little bits off and then you try it again, you're a little bit off and try it again. It's just like, nope. So just to show you guys what I mean. Keep you guys with me. I'm going to do this one take. So on this side, I'm going to put you right down here. And you can see, just here, the rubber's just that bit too big all up and won't push in. So I have to keep taking it down bit by bit. And by doing that, then I end up with that nice tight fit into the chassis mount. If I do it too much at a time, it's going to ruin the job, and I'm going to have to spend another $100 on basically getting a new set of rubbers. And it also knocks 3 days worth of slow, tedious linishing out the window. So yeah, this is a slow process and it is frustrating me like nothing else. Don't worry about you guys being bored watching this and how slow it is. It's frustrating for me because I know how close I am to getting this front end finished, and the only way I can get it done properly is by doing it slow, meticulous, and a tedious fashion to make sure that it's done properly. So we'll see how we go with it and just continue on, take more and more off, and I'll go on from there. Next shot should be both of these fitted into the mounts, and then we can finally bolt this bastard up. Okay, so here's the bane of my existence and why I've been frustrated for so long, for so many days. Here's the rubber here. Okay, now this will slide in. Now it's going to be a pain in the bum because I'm doing this one-handed now. Hang on, I'm going to put this down. Okay, so here's one fitted, okay? So it's in there, nice and snug, no problems there. Here's the cross tube. Here's my problem. When I push this in, okay, I'm going to show you guys, just as I push this in, I'm going to show you guys the problem. Inside, you can see where the cross tube is actually smashing on the inners of the bushing. Now that makes it a big problem because if I tear the inside of the bushing out, it'll split it and once again it'll ruin it. So to counteract that problem, you actually have to take more rubber than what's there now to be able to get the cross tube to come through properly. So if I push this any further forward, I'm going to go on the other side here. Oop. Might help if I don't smack the phone around. But as I push this down, it's jammed on that spot, so I can't get it through. Now the cross tube is greased, so don't worry about that. But you can see, just there, it's grabbing on the rubber. So what I have to do is take more off the outside, so then when the crush tube gets pushed through, because the rubber expands from the crush tube, it'll then fit snugly. This is why it takes time, because that's when you have to take the 0.05, 0.05, 0.05, check the tube, and will it sit in there properly, or will it pop the rubber back out, or will it jam on the inside? So that is the main bane of my existence there. It's not so much the taking the material off the bench grinder, because that's easy. You see that, it's just like a minute at a time. But it's this that's causing the issue. So you can have it all fitting there, that's fine. But the problem is having it fitting with the crush tube in it. So you've got to take more than necessary to be able to counteract it and then make sure it's all good. I hope I explained that well enough. It sounded like I was rambling and babbling, like rounding in a circle here. But, you know, sometimes it's one more time for the dummies. And by dummies, I do mean brain dead muppets like myself. So like I said, I had one of them already done, and I'll show you how. So we're going to go into the freezer here. And down here, we've already got one frozen down and ready to go. And this has already been linished left, right and centre. And so I'm going to demonstrate to you guys the difference. Now, as I said to you earlier in the episode, thermal dynamics plays a big part in this. Cold air makes rubber shrink, hot air makes it expand. Obviously, I've been hitting the bench grinder on the rubber there, so it makes it nice and hot. So, just to demonstrate, here is a fully frozen one, and I'm going to put this in and show you guys the difference. So here's the difference. You've got the tube pushed in, which pushes out the rest of the bushing. Now this is the first one, so it wasn't perfect. There's a couple of little chunks here or there, but it wasn't a dramatic screw up. So as you can see, cross tube in, rubber in. Just got to put the other side onto that, and that's a fully mounted chassis mount. So here's both the rubbers mounted. And you can see it's partly recessed there, and it's partly recessed on this side too. You can see it's jammed in there nice and well. It's good snug fit. So the next thing you do, this is the side that mounts to the Crustida at the front, and then this is the bit that mounts on the chassis rails. So this pole here, we've already got a washer on. We push it through. Come on. There we go. So we're going to let this rest on the rubbers up here. So I'm going to use the other rubber as like a little rest, and I can use any other item, sort of like a sledgehammer here, just anything that's got a couple of inches to prop it up. But as you can see here, we've got a bit of space still to go there, and we've got the thread poking out. So what we do is push them together. Just for example, I'm just going to put my foot down, because this is normally how I'm doing stuff. But you can see just the movement there. And I'm going to try and get the washer on the end here. Now here's the fun bit, is actually closing that in with that, and I think I'm going to use something like a G-clamp to do this, to be able to press them together, and then I'll be able to put the nut on and rattle gun the whole thing together, and she'll be mounted. Now mind you, I've still got to put the grease in here. I haven't done it yet. It's just, this is more a demonstration just to show you guys how it goes, and also especially for myself. Everything here that you watch is re-educating myself and teaching myself. So if I ever have a brain fart moment, I can always come back to these videos that I record and remind myself what I have done in the past, and basically reverse the steps that I was doing. So I'm traveling around town trying to find replacement strut bolts. I found the pitch, I found the size, I found everything else.
It's actually just finding them in stock. So yeah, this is really quite fun right now. I've been to Autobarn and all the other industrial places. I've only got like 2 or 3 options left, like Super Cheap and Bunnings, and that's it. So we'll see how we go. Hopefully I get it. But I've been running around all afternoon trying to get these. So here's all my parts for the front end, except for the lower control arms. And a couple of extra little goodies here. So, just to show you what I've got. Brand new set of front king springs for Crustida, along with some KYB gas shocks, the good old XLGs. The reason I went with this brand is because KYB have been a factory supplier to Toyota since before I was even born. So that's a goddamn long time. Then, separate to that, in this box, I've got a little thing from Rocket Industries, and I'm pretty sure that's my battery tray. I mean, it's really light. And then the last thing here, I can show you the end. And that is my Davies Craig water pump. Yum yums. So the only thing left for my front end are my lower control arms. And the main problem with them not being here is they're not being made in Australia anymore. I actually ordered them from Super Cheap and paid for them and everything else. And then over the Christmas break, they turned around and said that, no, they're discontinued, can't make them anymore. And I was literally, I would say, close to giving up on the entire front end. Now, for me personally, I didn't know what to do. I was like, how am I going to sort this out? If there's nowhere in Australia, is there anywhere, anyone that can do it? Fortunately, thanks to our good old friends in the good old US of A, America. Because of them, I've actually got a set of lower control arms in transit on the way here to Australia. So a big shout out to the company. I'll give them a full shout out when they arrive, when those parts arrive. But it's the only thing I'm waiting for now for Crustida to bolt the entire front end together. So we've got the bushings done on the floor there. We've just got to place it all in. We've now got the rest of the parts all down here for the front end, and everything's set and ready to go. I'm just really counting down the minutes and the hours and the days. So it's been a real worry that I've had to sit pretty much for a week waiting for all these parts to come back in, because Christmas and New Year, everyone was shut down, and unfortunately I didn't make my order in time. I was probably on the last couple of days, and unfortunately they didn't all get out, so I had to wait pretty much until I think it was today or yesterday, in the past couple of days definitely, just for the springs. Everything else had arrived before New Year's. So I've basically waited for 2 weeks to get one part to collect my entire order there. And then I've also got those lower control arms that were discontinued that are now in transit to Australia and should be here by Monday. That's what FedEx has told me. So at this point in time, I am just sitting, twiddling my thumbs, getting frustrated because I have so many, what's the word I'm looking for? So many options that could have been done and dealt with earlier, but because I went with this direction, I've had to sit and wait, and some of my money's sitting there in limbo, some of it's been refunded, or it's bouncing around everywhere in the banking space. So there's so many different things that I've got to judge that I can't make all my decisions right now, but there are so many other parts that are coming in right now that I've also ordered and paid for. And I'll give you guys a rundown of that the next day or two. Hopefully all of it clears up. I am literally livid right now. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm really trying to keep this together. Alright, so let's go a long story short. Tried to go to China to get my turbos and basically got scammed, or they tried to scam me, and it's cost me a few dollars for payment processing fees. I tried to be slick. I really thought, yep, this is going to be the good one, and gave the nice comments and told him what I wanted, and everything else is, yeah, it's all good, it's all good. So I put the payment through, payment clears, and then I get this goddamn message. So as you see, I am effing livid, just to put it mildly. So the thing that makes me livid right now is the fact that everything cleared, and then this bastard tried to extort triple what I had already paid for these China turbos. Now, if I'm going to pay that much for China turbos, I might as well go buy it direct from Garrett, because that was almost the same bloody price. And the worst bit about it is, you saw all the parts that I've just picked up over the past day or so with all the springs and everything else. The really big thing that pisses me off more than anything else is during that time when I bought all that, I had the opportunity to buy genuine Garrett GDX 2867Rs at 30% off. That would have saved me about $1,200. Now, mind you, it would have cost me about $2,300, but that's a lot better than $3,400, $3,500. But no, I thought I'd be slick and only pay the couple hundred each turbo and go the eBay/Alibaba route, and I've been royally bent over and screwed because of it. Anyways, I'm done. I am literally done right now. So I'm just going to let this episode be, and I'm going to look forward to tomorrow night, because let's face it, I'm having fun on overtaking lane with this trivia challenge. So far, we're 8 weeks down. I'm halfway to that Lambo. And yeah, it's just I've been really enjoying that, but this whole thing today has really screwed me up for that. I'm just hoping I'm going to be in a better mood by the time that trivia challenge comes around, because yeah, I'm freaking livid as it is right now. It's just BS. But that's a lesson learned for me and a lesson learned for all of you. Don't get slick. I mean, if the deal's too good to be true, it probably is. So now I'm going to have to see what I can do to get these 2 turbos. And like I said, I was after 2867Rs, so there was your little spoiler alert, basically. I was going to be fitting a pair of 2867s onto my 1J and see if that could compete with Scotty's 3582R. I don't know if I can do it now, but we'll see what I can do. Anyway, guys, I've had a pretty crap day. I hope you guys have a good one. This is the Maf Garage. Peace.